Olá meus amigos do canal Arquivo Confidencial, queria dar meus sinceros agradecimentos a todos vocês, pois com a sua ajuda o canal chegou a mais de 100 inscritos. Mas, sem mais delongas, vamos ao segundo episódio da série A Influência da Maçonaria nos Estados Unidos. Não esqueçam de curtir, compartilhar e ativar as notificações.
In spite of their declared non-political affiliation, Masonic lodges indeed became active in politics, and often operated openly and side by side with the established political parties.
Today we can see numerous traces that confirm the presence of Freemasonry in America. They are in plain view all around us, from the more conspicuous Masonic temples to the lesser-known symbols that are incorporated in its very own currency. And that is only the tip of the iceberg. What is actually below the surface? What is it that these symbols mean, that almost 300 million citizens swear by every day? What is the true ideology of the most powerful country in the world? And how does it affect their actions? And where will it lead them?
In the early 18th century, Freemason became particularly strong and influential in North America, where it played a key role in the creation of what today we know as the United States of America. Many of the USA's founding fathers were Freemasons, among them Benjamin Franklin. Franklin was a printer, scientist, inventor, politician and diplomat. In 1726, upon returning from England, he founded his own secret society, the Leather Apron Club. He was later initiated a freeman in a Philadelphia lodge and published the first American book on Freemasonry in 1734, the year that he was named Provincial Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania. In 1755, Franklin participated in the inauguration of the first Masonic Hall in Philadelphia.
Without a doubt, Franklin was fully committed to the cause. But which cause was that? American? Masonic? Both, perhaps. Another famous American Freemason was George Washington, and a statue of him can still be seen today, posing as a Baphomet, a Masonic icon related to Lucifer. A mere coincidence, or does this have a more significant meaning? So what is the statue trying to tell us? The neoconservatives and ultra-religious groups in the USA today should perhaps ask themselves, what exactly are they celebrating on the 4th of July?
George Washington was initiated in 1752, while still a youth in Fredericksburg, Virginia. The following year, he obtained the rank of Master Freemason. He took the oath of office as first President of the USA in the Federal Hall on Wall Street, using a Bible loaned by the neighboring St. John's No. 1 Lodge. Centuries later, another GW, George W. Bush, swore on the same Bible, though he does not admit to being a Freemason. In May 1791, George Washington announced the creation of the new country's capital city, which would rise on the banks of the Potomac River. A month later, a group of Freemasons gathered in the town of Alexandria for a ceremony in which they laid the foundation stone of a city that would soon be called Washington, D.C., and whose design would be influenced by Masonic symbolism. On September the 18th, 1793, George Washington, wearing the leather apron and ruff for Grand Master, laid the foundation stone of the Capitol, a building that has all the hallmarks of Masonic architecture.
The capital of the United States of America is perhaps the city with the most symbolism in the world. The design of its buildings, statues and monuments are true to the Freemason principles, upon which the city was founded.
The first blueprints of the capital were drawn up in August 1791 by French engineer Pierre-Charles L'Enfant. L'Enfant worked together with the American civil engineer and astronomer Andrew Ellicott, who charted the land in 1790 under the directions of Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. Except for Jefferson, they were all Freemasons. In L'Enfant's blueprints, the three most important buildings, the Capitol, the White House, and Washington's monument, the obelisk, form a right-angled triangle, where the hypotenuse is Pennsylvania Avenue, between the White House and the Capitol. The set square is the Masonic symbol, par excellence.
It's worth asking why American symbols do not portray anything American. For example, the obelisk. Although it stands out in an unmistakable way, few question why this Egyptian symbol stands dominantly in the heart of the city rather than something a little more American. The answer is obelisks, like many other Egyptian constructions such as pyramids, are Hermetic symbols, and therefore both Masonic and especially Rosicrucian.
True to their origins as builders, Freemasons always gave fundamental importance to architectonic symbols. To this day, there are those who assert the intersection of Massachusetts Avenue, Rhode Island Avenue, Connecticut Avenue, Vermont Avenue, and K Street Northwest form a Pythagorean pentagram or five-point star, a design scheme which many evangelists and other conservative groups believe to be satanic. We can conclude that Washington, D.C. is, right from its foundational design, a symbolic evocation of Masonic principles.
In the early 19th century, America was swarming with Masonic lodges, and their members were all important people in the community. Now, if the Brotherhood had done so much for the American Revolution, if their principles were so innocent, and they enjoyed widespread influence and social prestige, why did the lodges still remain so secretive? What did they have to hide, once free from the monarchy and the Church of England? Perhaps the many Freemasons that are studied in American history textbooks today could have provided us with the answers.
In 1801, John Marshall, previously Grand Master of Virginia, was named Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. In 1804, Lewis and Clark, both Freemasons, left St. Louis to explore the Pacific coast, becoming the first pioneers, and in the process claiming land that belonged to Native Americans in the name of the United States, and presumably Freemasonry. Freemason Stephen Austin established the first Anglo-American colony in the Mexican state of Texas. Andrew Jackson was the first president of the USA to previously have been Grand Master of his own state. He was in office from 1829 to 1837.
However, in this, its most active period, Freemasonry was infiltrated by a sect who had disturbing objectives, the Illuminati of Bavaria, who were, or still are, a mysterious organization who are capable of infiltrating one of the oldest brotherhoods in the world to manipulate it for their own needs.
Freemasonry was undoubtedly the starting point for many of the most progressive ideas of the 18th century. In the American continent, the old European Brotherhood found a fertile soil for its anti-monarchic and anti-clergy ideas to flourish. Freemasonry had a direct and profound influence on the independence movements of Argentina, Chile, Ecuador, Peru, Venezuela, Colombia, and of course, the United States of America.
Up to this point, we can say that beyond the typical criticism, Freemasonry's role in American history was positive. In 1776, in Germany, the Order of Illuminati of Bavaria was founded. This was an organization created by a megalomaniac that very soon infiltrated almost all the European Freemasonry and perhaps the American lodges too. The Illuminati proposed putting an end to religion and all established government to create a new world order. When they were exposed, people began to panic, and the whole of Freemasonry was subject to suspicion. And from this, it would never fully recover.
In 1776, just a few months before the American Declaration of Independence, the Order of the Illuminati was founded in Bavaria, in what is today part of Germany. Their founder and driving force was Adam Weishaupt, an eccentric idealist and a true megalomaniac, who, inspired by the ideas of Rousseau, went in a quest to satisfy his own vaulting ambitions. Just like the great philosopher, Weishaupt upheld that man should embrace his pure, natural state and govern himself. But unlike Rousseau, Weishaupt advocated the dissolution of the state, the abolition of private property, and the banning of all religions. He wants to recast all existing societies and cultures into a single, secular order, one that he himself would rule. Adam Weishaupt intended to be a true world dictator. The Order of the Illuminati spread throughout Europe and grew strong among Freemasons and the nobility, until they were eventually discovered and their ambitions thwarted, or so it was believed at the time. However, it is suspected that years later, the French Revolution and its subsequent phase of terror were carefully staged and managed by the Illuminati. In 1798, their presence was reported in America, causing the infamous New England Illuminati panic.
If, since 1776, the Illuminati had infiltrated Freemasonry, one could ask how many of the founding fathers were Illuminati as well as being Freemasons. This possibility was perfect ammunition for the enemies of Freemasonry.
With the Declaration of Independence, the United States established freedom of worship. The religious and conservative sectors were furious, and an anti-Masonic campaign was soon up and running. The New England Illuminati panic could have been a manufactured propaganda campaign designed to nullify the actions of the Founding Fathers. Or it could have been genuine. The fact remains that John Adams, the second President of the United States, designated May the 9th as a day of fasting and worship to implore the heavens' mercy and blessing for the imperiled nation.
After this statement from Adams, the paranoia of the Illuminati became hysteria. The prestigious Reverend Jedediah Morse of Boston devoted 3 months of sermons to condemn what he called a conspiracy to attack the true religion and liberty. He held the Illuminati responsible of attempting to destroy the system, unleash chaos, and take control of the world.
Morse based his theories on those of Scottish Freemason John Robison, who maintained that the Illuminati, who attacked thrones and altars, had already established themselves in the United States. Morse's sermons, along with the wide circulation of Robison's books and those of Abbot Augustin Barruel, stoked the hysteria and provoked sensationalist newspaper stories. In the end, no hard evidence of an Illuminati conspiracy could ever be found.
However, there is one curious fact. Thomas Jefferson himself, one of the founding fathers of the new nation, defended the Illuminati in writing. From that moment on, he would be accused himself of being one of the infiltrators in America.
After reading one of the books by Burwell, Jefferson wrote a letter to Bishop Madison, saying that Adam Weishaupt believes in the indefinite perfectibility of man. He thinks that he may in time be rendered so perfect that he will be able to govern himself in every circumstance, so as to injure none, to do all the good he can, to leave government no occasion to exercise their powers over him, and of course, to render political government useless. This, you know, is not far removed from our own ideals.
Was Thomas Jefferson an Illuminati? His enemies immediately used this letter against him.